quite fond of the Vulcan. One of their corgis, actually a doggy, which is a corgi, accent across, is called Vulcan. So she's not that known for being fond of aeroplanes, but she quite likes this one. Which kind of, it's a metaphor for how everybody seems to feel about Vulcan. She is the most popular aeroplane in the country. Because when she left the Royal Air Force Service in 1993, everybody thought that we would never see a Vulcan again, and everybody was very sad. But they reckoned without amazing people like David Vulcan, who bought the last Vulcan, the display Vulcan, at the time. And it was this Vulcan, and he joined forces with Dr. Rob Fleming. And the eventual upshot of that, to cut a very long story short, was the Vulcans of the Sky Trust. And it's that trust that has managed to get Vulcan airborne again. It's cost more than £10 million to do this, and it still costs £2 million a year. And the Heritage Lottery Fund came in with £2.7 million, and the aviation industry were immensely supportive. But most of the money came from you and me, from the great British people. And you've given your money, which just shows, I think, how much everybody does love this airplane. And there she is, approaching from the right. Now, if you were expecting a very loud noise from the Vulcan, well, she can sneak up on you as well. But when they turn on the taps on those four big Olympus engines, I think you'll probably hear. Now, they being in the left-hand seat, when it's airworthy. And sitting in the right-hand seat, not captaining today, is the chief pilot of the Vulcan to the Sky Trust, Martin Withers, DFC. Yes, that Martin Withers, the one who flew Vulcan 607 down to the Falkland Islands 30 years ago this year and dropped 21 1,000-pound bombs on Port Stanley, 2 of which hit the runway. That's about par for the course for World War II unguided bombs. So Vulcan coming back in towards us. As I say, this is her first display. They've not had many practices at this, so they're doing pretty much the same as they did last year. The aeroplane looks like So he was thinking about this amazing aeroplane 5 years after the Lancaster first. Quite extraordinary. Which he eventually flew in 1952, by which time, to say, Roy Chadwick, great Lancaster Vulcan designer, had died in an aircraft crash. But his work was taken on by Stuart Davies. And so the definition of the Lancaster was this aircraft, which you might think in different centuries.
Wenn Sie so gleich.
Eventually 136 of them were built, and with contemporary Valiant and Victor, it has been designed to carry the British nuclear deterrent until submarine-launched nuclear missiles came along in the mid-60s, and Vulcans lost their awesome responsibility of providing the quick reaction alert nuclear deterrent. When when they did that, they changed their colour. They'd been brilliant white anti-nuclear flash. And they changed to this camouflage scheme, becoming low-level operating conventional bombers, although still capable of nuclear weapons. And of course it was in that role that they carried out this Falklands raid 30 years ago, which was at the time the longest bombing raid in history, 7,760 miles, which is further than from here to Santiago, actually. This particular aeroplane was the first B-2 version of the bomber, second mark, into RAF service in Bomber Command in 1960. Sitting in the right-hand seat and Phil O'Dell sitting in the left-hand seat. The third man of the crew is the Air Electronics Officer, Barry Macefield, a very important man in the Vulcan crew. He runs all the electrics. It was sometimes known as the electric bomber, very complicated electrics in the aircraft. And during operational days, it would have had two navigators as well. One regular navigator, one plotter navigator. Bomb doors open. There you can see where there's 21 1,000-pound bombs fit. That's what she was designed to do. So designed for a very big nuclear. But eventually, right at the end of her service days, carrying that 21,000 pounds, 10 tons, give or take, of bombs. So this very elegant colour scheme, distinctive camouflage, which looks so good against those white puffy clouds. She carries the Lincoln coat of arms on her tail fin, because of course Lincoln is always thought of as the centre of bomber country. And the panther's head of No. 1 group on the nose, representing all of the Vulcan squadrons in the 1970s. And the more recent addition, the spirit of Great Britain, is painted on her nose, because she does encapsulate, I believe, all that we like to stand for, the great British never say die, bulldog spirit. Because of course this aeroplane has lurched from financial crisis to financial crisis, even threatening to sack all the paid engineering staff several times. But she's still here, thanks to you. Bomb doors closing. Saviours of this aeroplane, David Walton, who bought her originally, Robert Fleming, has stayed as the boss of the Vulcans and Sky Trust. Absolutely unbelievable. Nobody did it. And as you can see, she is almost as manoeuvrable as a fighter. In fact, in the very early days of her displays, at the very early Farnborough days, the first time she was ever seen in public wasn't very long after her first flight in the great Road the test pilot rolled her completely round in a small barrel roll that looked pretty much like a slow roll. And everybody thought that a bomber couldn't do that. He showed that he could. And incidentally, she doesn't have the big kind of control yoke that large aircraft normally have. Each pilot has a single fighter type joystick to control it. Well, I've been going on about the money, but it really is important. She still needs it. And when she's down, she will be positioned by the Vulcan village in the Cold War exhibition off to the right-hand end of the skyline. We haven't figured out if she'll be there. You should please go down to the Vulcan village. Take yourself down. need all this money for people to come and give it. Well, the original business plan did include major commercial sponsorship, and honestly, everything that could have been has been tried, but it hasn't happened, although we are still trying to pump the project strongly to the industry. But we're still making money. We're flying her 21 times more, at least this season. We hope for some others. And of course, whenever we get the big Vulcan village out, which is what's here today, or sometimes a smaller version, then we really depend on people going to see her. And it's strange that we haven't got a named sponsor. No one's come forward on that, because one of the things that she does outstandingly well is to inspire and excite the next generation of British engineers and designers by her example of what can be achieved. So I would have thought big companies would be queuing up to support her. And there it was. If you've not heard it before, that was the famous Vulcan howl. All sorts of theories as to why that happens. I don't think anybody really knows. But anyway, it's a unique Vulcan sound with the 4 Rolls-Royce Olympus engines, about 16,000 pounds of static thrust each.
That was just me pressing.
So she's going to land from the left. She's going on the downwind leg at the moment. That flight path parallel to the runway. She's getting her wheels down and getting her pre-landing checks done before she lands from left to right, slowing the aircraft down, and you'll drop the nose down at the very last minute. There's the nose wheel coming down, all 18 wheels down on the ground. The Vulcan has landed. And am I happy to see her?
Well, sure, like the MiG-29, the Vulcan aircraft, which has such a tremendous presence, doesn't it?
Yes, the Americans used to call her the aluminum overcast because the sky goes dark when she flies over. Actually, she's only about the size of a small Airbus airliner. She just looks very much bigger and has a lot more presence, as you say.
Fantastic. The Vulcan is back again, as is Sean, tomorrow. But you can, of course, go to the Vulcan Village and support the project to keep her flying and keep her coming to air shows like this one.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Sean. Always a pleasure.